Aren't you about ready to have a baby?
Not I.
Well, that's where you're wrong.
This is where
you think this is only happening to your wife.
Yeah.
This is
Well, yeah, she has to carry him for 9 months, and then me the rest of his life. So no, yes, TikTok any day now.
Yeah, any day.
Any day will be the father of 2, and then I'll be a real parent, as you say.
Because once you have 2, then you never know who did it.
Yeah. Well, as I say, we've successfully replaced ourselves. Now we are complete, and now we just need to have them successfully launched into the world, and we may die peacefully.
Yeah. Well, you got to train them first.
Well, right.
Yeah, I was talking to your wife when I got here to record today, and she's like, if I had a magic wand that would make her drop the kid and down the stairs, she would have been, I'm in. I'm ready.
Right. Yeah, she's ready for it to be over. I don't blame her. She's uncomfortably large.
Yeah, I hope she doesn't hear this show.
No, we've talked about it.
Okay.
She just
It's probably okay for her to say, but not necessarily for you to say.
Well, no, but it's not like, oh, you're
large.
getting fat. Maybe you should not have so many sandwiches like when she's pregnant. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, yeah, you're only carrying a life support system and a baby in there.
And a lot of sandwiches.
Yeah, she's at the stage where she's strictly really just a vessel right now.
Yeah.
She's no longer a human. She's just a vessel for this little
that's
parasite.
how she sees it, but that's not true.
This little parasite that's inside of her that she'll be able to launch on its own and get rid of the life support system and go back to her normal life.
Wow. You should write a book, Having Kids by Jason Jones.
Yeah.
The parasites of your life.
No. The title that I have in mind is Train a Dog, Raise a Child.
Oh, my God.
Because there's so many great parallels.
Okay, give me one.
One great parallel is, for instance, like your dog will learn commands like come here much quicker than your child will.
Okay, well, it's because you can roll up a newspaper and swat your dog.
Well, you can do that to your child too, but results are both not good for either one. You should never strike your dog, and you should never strike your child.
I got that. But also, dogs are walking a lot sooner than children as well. You can call a child, but if they can't do much more than just lay there because their legs and arms don't work, it doesn't mean they don't learn it as quickly as a dog.
Well, it's at like various stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and they're like puppies are really cute, like babies are cute, so you don't eat them or kill them.
Oh my God.
See, it's true. It's all biology.
Oh my goodness.
So there's so much. That's why when you're a young man and you're recently married and your wife's like, let's get a dog. This is like her warming you up to the idea of having children.
Really?
Yes, that's what it is. It's all part of that biological mandate.
Welcome to Biological Mandates with Bill Hermann and Jason Jones. I'm Bill. That's Jason, and thanks for being a part of our show again. Oh my gosh! Well, maybe we'll be doing our next podcast from the hospital.
Yeah, maybe that would be exciting.
Yeah, Kelly.
Batta, swing batta. That's my best catching position.
So,
like Johnny Bench, is that what the?
That's exactly what it is. So many people know that we have the entertainment experience. The entertainment experience being a training a company for wedding entertainers and entertainers and event professionals all together.
Professionals, yeah, right. Exactly.
And on our Facebook page last week, I posted an article I found on the Huffington Post, which I found very interesting, about improvisation and comedy improv, and how it was really good for what you do in business and in life, and how if you use the principles from improv, it can do really great things for you.
I could believe that.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about it. And you and I have both done improv, and those people who have done improv and listening to this will hear some of this here. But there are several parts, several steps and lessons in improv that make you really good at it. One of them is listening.
What?
Okay. Listening. I mean, really listening, active listening to the people who are talking, to the person who's talking, not keeping your head in what's going to be next or what you're going to say next. Actually listening really well can help you not only in life, but in what you do as a performer.
Keep going. I need something wittier to say than I'm thinking about right now.
Well, I mean, for instance, we do talk about listening and active listening in our workshop.
Yeah, it's a huge part. It's a huge part of the workshop because it threads through we thread it through the entire experience, from listening to in the sales consultation to listening to the audience when you're on stage, to listening to your girlfriend or spouse when she's with you. You know, if you want to score points, try like really hearing what she has to say.
Right. And in a nutshell, without getting really specific into it, the difference between what we do regularly and actively listening is while you're not actively listening, you're in a conversation with somebody, but in your head, while you're listening to them or think you're listening to them, you're thinking about what you're going to say next. You don't really hear it.
Right. Or you got it and you're just like waiting for them to stop talking. Dad, let me tell you about the time that I went to my car in the truck and we were in the McDonald's drive-thru and it was hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that, were you talking about that?
No, I wasn't talking about that at all.
Okay. That can happen.
The next thing in the list of improv is adding what they call yes and. Add, agree and add something.
Agree and add something.
Right. When you're in a conversation with somebody, or when you're working on a collaboration, or when you're in a team situation, or even just in life with your partner, they say something, it's about agreeing with them and then adding, as opposed to agreeing but telling them how they're different or they're wrong.
Disagreeing and add something.
Right. That's a much different thing as well.
So let's do an example of that.
Well, an example would be, I think we should both wear hats.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. In fact, there's another hat in here for you.
Very good. That's very basic, isn't it?
It was. Now to no and.
Well, to yes and, to really yes and, you want to be able to agree and add something that'll actually move things forward. To tell me yes and I have a hat for you now means we're done.
Why would we be done?
Because I'd put a hat on and there we're done.
Well, but then I'd have something else to say about your hat. Or wouldn't you? Maybe it didn't fit.
Very good.
Or maybe it was like weirdly wet. And what's the deal with the wet hat, right? Or
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it could be so many other things to do with the hat.
So the no and would be, hey, man, I think we should both wear hats.
Would that be a no and?
No,
because if we both wear hats, like, yeah, we're both wearing hats. How come your hat's bigger than my hat? I mean, there's still something there to push it forward, isn't there?
See, if we were really good at this, our life would be much better, according to this Huffington Post article.
What do you mean? This is how we talk all the time.
How about knowing it's knowing that it's there and then it's gone? In other words, when a moment happens, it happens. The moment is happening right now, but when it's over, it's over. It's in the ether. There's nothing to be said about it. And I talk about that when I'm on stage all the time. And theater, for me, live theater is an art form that is that's kind of it's etherical. It happens and it's gone. If I'm up there and I miss a line, or I get moved somewhere because I missed a cue or somebody else missed a cue, I can worry about that for the next 5 scenes, or I can just remember that what happened and the next thing is the next thing.
It's over and it's just the next performance kind of thing. So I should stop rehashing the conversations in my head on the drive home. Oh, I should have said, and your dog bites.
Right. I mean, I'm thinking about
that would have been good.
How much happier you are if you're just okay with what happened. And then it's gone, and it's gone now. You don't have to worry about, because you can't fix it anyway.
Yeah, it's like letting it go. And actually, to add to that would be the need to know the future. Like, I need to know how this conversation is going to go. Because even you listen to anybody, and if you're going into a sales meeting thinking that, oh, this couple is going to be a yes, or, let's say, for example, you talked to a couple you're booked and you said, yeah, I talked to them. They really like all the entertainment experience stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Go ahead and talk to them. So I'm thinking immediately, oh, they like it. Oh, great. So they're much more likely a yes, which is going to change the way I communicate with them, versus my thinking, like, they're like, I don't know. Yeah, they seemed all into it. They heard of it. Yeah, give them a call.
Right.
Very ambiguous. Then it's like, ooh, ambiguous. Gosh, I'm going to have to work for this. And all these thoughts that I have about, like, what I'm going to have to do are all made up.
Right.
They could equally both be as excited or not excited.
And all of that prediction that that's going on with you right now, and the prediction of what you think it's going to be or how it should be, now can be wiped out if you can just be present.
Yeah, it's like let all that stuff go and like be with what's going to happen. Because then you don't have the problem of the blank stare when they don't say what you thought they were going to say.
Right. The moment is a very singular thing. And to listen to what's going on and being present for what's happening then you don't have to worry about creating what is going to happen next, or predicting the future, or wondering what happened and why they said that, because now you have to move. No, just be in the conversation, because that's when you're most yourself in the first place.
Well, that's what's funny, ironic about it, because it's like you always think that you need to be prepared. Like, I need to be ready, and then you're just spending more time in your head.
Exactly. And then you're worrying about judgment, which is the next thing. No judgment. Anything goes. Anything can happen. The crazier you are, the crazier the situation, without any judgment at all, the bigger that you can think, the bigger it can move forward. Because a huge thought, no matter how crazy it is, in a conversation of yes and can create into something that is actually usable. And that's a lot of where a lot of the creativity comes for me when I'm collaborating with my clients.
Well, think about this, like even in conversation, because we're talking about like improv skills for happy living, right? So just add yes and to your conversations that you have with anybody. An entertaining conversation.
Hard to do.
You know? I mean, you and I have entertained ourselves on our cell phones like forever. I mean, how long did your wife say, hey, when's Jason going to get on the Friends and Family plan? Because like your minutes to his number is like ridiculous.
Yeah, well, we're like a couple of 12-year-old girls.
Well, yes-anding each other for like hours.
Yeah, and the outfits I wear when I call them.
Yes, and pink is your color.
I know. Well, and this is stage stuff, but those improvisational actors who they live this because you have to, because it's difficult to do. It's difficult just to yes and in life, much less do it on a stage, rather, much less to do it every day in life.
Well, and that's because like the default human way of thinking is, let me give you everything that I've determined I don't want, and I should be logically left with what I want.
Right.
Which I did that at a buffet in Las Vegas, and I was left with celery sticks.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
No.
Best to go find what you want. I want a really good steak. How about that place?
Right. How about supporting each other? Supporting each other is another big one in the improv world. Support your partner, support your collaborators, be a support system for them.
Is this an intervention because I'm not supporting you enough? Is that where this is going? What's going on here?
No, the group will succeed because you succeed. We succeed because we succeed. If you take away the ego, everybody can build something together because you're supporting. And that feeds into the yes and. It feeds into all of the other things we were talking about, judgment and being present. You have to be able to support your team there on stage. And improv is not really a thing you do on your own.
Yes.
It isn't just you.
Yes, and on every level. I mean, think about the Mobile Beach show. You know, I have to clearly admit that I stopped listening to you a little bit ago because I thought, a great example of this is the Mobile Beach show, right? So then I just was waiting to talk. So this happens, but we're still practicing. Okay, we're learning and practicing this together. So thinking about everybody involved in that show.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just what people saw on stage was a small part of everyone yes-anding each other. You know, Jeremy in the back running lights and having to coordinate with Jason Janai, who's up DJing, who has to coordinate with the guy who's to our cue, to letting somebody on stage, the music's going to happen. I mean, there was no egos going on at all. Even when there would be questioning like, do we have this video ready? And is this queued up? And there was no like, well, what are you saying? I don't have my stuff ready. Are you saying I don't have my stuff ready?
Right.
None of that existed. Everyone was like, yes, and it's here. Even if I already asked once for it. It's like, yep, verified.
Well, because they got that every question we might have had or any question they had for us was in and around the fact that we're supporting the idea that this is going to be successful. Not, I'm worried you're going to screw up.
Exactly.
We're supporting each other by staying a stand for everybody and all of the things they're doing as a team.
Exactly. And that's something that you can create at your events. Now, thinking about in this case, like we all showed up there as a team, but like when you go and do a wedding, be the team leader. I mean, you show up there and you support everybody on the team, a caterer, photographer, everybody. They're going to think they're going to know you're a rock star and be really like love what you're bringing, and all you're doing is just bringing that leadership into that space.
Well, plus
and teamwork.
If you show up like a leader, everyone else shows up like a leader. So now it's not just one person leading the team and the charge. You have a team full of people who have taken responsibility to be sure you're as great as you're going to be, and they're as great as they're going to be, and then everybody works together as a team to support each other.
And you can add cat herder to your resume.
Absolutely. The next thing on the list would be follow the fear. Okay. Whatever's scariest for you is probably the thing you ought to be doing. Honestly,
I like to run from the fear.
No. I mean, if you want to live like an improvisational actor, you want to be an improver, then you want to jump. You don't want to worry about being scared about it. You want to jump because you're going to learn more about the mistake and you're going to be able to trust your team to support you in what you do so they can yes and you and feed you back and get you on track of where that's going to be.
Unless it's a guy on a ledge. Then really discretion says don't say, jump, I learned it in improv, it'll be great.
It seems really simple, but it is the single probably hardest thing is to not be is to embrace the fear, to jump at the fear as opposed to step away from it.
Yeah, jump in and see what happens.
Right, exactly. I mean, you're thinking about growing your business, but you don't because you're a little bit of, no, jump at it. You're thinking about raising your prices, but I'm not sure. No, jump at it. You're thinking about adding lighting to your system.
Wait. Jump at it.
Exactly. It's mostly, I'm afraid of what might happen. And you don't know what's going to happen. So where are you going to be able to have the most growth? Jumping at the fear.
Yeah. Either way, it's an action that can move you forward.
Right. Another big thing in improv is being yourself. As crazy as that sounds, a lot of actors in improv think they need to come to stage with a character. And you can, that gives you a certain sort of thing, but there's nothing really truthful about that. And if you come on stage as you, dealing with what's happening as you and yourself instead of like coming into a sales proposition. You're coming into a sale like if you're going to do a sale, but you show up as Jeffrey Gitomer because you read all of his books, as opposed to showing up as you, who has read some of Jeffrey Gitomer's work. You're going to have a lot more success coming in as you, who has learned from another person, than trying to be the person you think you need to be.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the questions. Geez, how many times you remember hearing it growing up? Just be yourself. Right. People like you. And you're like, Mom, that's not working.
Right. I'm not cool.
People are not liking myself.
Everybody hates me.
I need to be different.
I'm funny looking.
So the question lies like, how do you figure out, how do you know that I'm being myself and I'm showing up? And I think that I found one secret.
Ooh.
That could help with that.
Okay.
And that is like really determine what you're committed to in any situation. Mm-hmm. And then speak to that commitment. And you'll always say the right thing. You'll always do the right thing. You'll always do what's most important because you'll be speaking from that commitment, basically taking you out of it. So you're no longer wondering like, do they think I'm cool? Am I coming across? Are they disrespectful? Is that a sneer? Is she upset? Did I upset somebody?
Right.
You're out of all that conversation and you're just in like, all right, is everything happening according to plan? Because I'm really committed that this be amazing.
Something you and I talk about all the time.
Yeah, so you're standing in that commitment and then all that other stuff just goes away. And next thing you know, you're done and you're like, wow, what did we do? Oh, I didn't even think about myself once.
Well, it's because you didn't make it about you. That's usually where I'm stuck the most, is where I end up having a difficult time being myself, is because I think I need to look a certain way, or I need to, it's about me. I feel weird, or I need to be cool, or I need to be that. And a lot of the word that the same in all of that, like you always remind me, is the word I. So if you can come into the world, not making it about you, but being everything about what's outside of you for others, you're going to do a lot better. Zig Ziglar said, you're going to get all the things you want in life if you just help the other guy get what he wants.
Yep, exactly. And give up the method of listing everything you don't want and then taking and hoping for something you do want to show up.
Absolutely. If you can do that, then certainly your customers will. Yep. I mean, how many times have we sat in front of a client who's looking to hire a DJ, and all they're really doing is they're looking for the guy who seems to offend them the most and seems to look a certain way, and then they take what they think they know about DJs and they want to whittle away all the things they hate about DJs until they have nothing much more than an iPod.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not an iPod. We're not iPods. Mm-hmm. So if we can't come to the conversation that way, how can we expect our clients to come to the conversation that way?
Well, yeah. Well, and you're speaking to this whole big world of like actually coming to the conversation to create something collaboratively in that conversation, rather than the what do you want? I can be whatever it is you want me to be, as if they really know. I mean, they know that they want to have fun. They know that they want their friends to have a great time. They know they want people to like boast about how much fun their celebration was. That's what they know. That's what they want. Mm-hmm. You want to just figure out what they want. Now, how that happens, that's what there is for you to create.
And that's that conversation that's difficult at times to kind of get them in. Because like you said, everyone comes to the conversation of what they don't want. Well, half the time, my first part of my conversation in a conversation when they first want to hire is they've got that going on. So, okay, let's talk about it. Let me hear what you don't want. Okay, now that we know what you don't want.
I don't want you. Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about what you do want.
Right.
What is important to you? Because if I can listen in such a way that I really understand what they really want, then it's easier for me to truthfully tell them whether or not I can help them or not. Which speaks to the last piece of the entertainment of the world in improv is truth. Seeking truth and simplifying, okay? Trying to stay out of making it really complicated and just keeping it truthful.
That's great. What would be an example of that?
Well, an example of that, simplifying, like what I just said about the sales conversation. For me, a simplified sales conversation is really a good spending some time listening to people in a way like I really like. Because I really want to know. Okay. Now, just the other day on Facebook, somebody wanted to know, well, what kind of questions should I ask when I'm in that consultation? Honestly, why don't you ask questions that you want to know?
That you're right. What do you want to know? What are you curious about?
Exactly. And
yes. What do you need to know to be able to do what you do the best?
Right, because if you can be that person who's honestly liking these people, who really wants to know about them, you're going to ask all the right questions. And then when you get to what they really want, you can truthfully tell them what you can and can't do. I spend a lot of time in my consultations before they even hire me, spending time being truthful around what their expectations are and what they really ought to be. Because I'm not afraid to say, well, that's a really beautiful thing. And if I had a magic wand for you, that'd be great. But really the truth is, this is what you can expect. And this is what you can expect, because I'm honestly just boiling it down to what they really want, simplifying, and then being honest and truthful about it.
Yeah. And even honest and truthful about their expectations of what would be the result. We can do that. And this is probably the result. Is that something you were hoping for?
Right.
Maybe not, or yes, or we don't care. Then you're like, okay, we know. And then you can move on and just creating from there, which what I love about all that you said is it completely takes out of the space me having to convince you to like or want to buy the things I do.
Right.
As if you're selling a list of things that you do, which you're not. Those are just tools. Your plumber doesn't come in and say, okay, which one do you want? All right, I got a pipe wrench here. You want to pay for the pipe wrench?
Yeah,
I might have to use the pipe wrench.
A certain way. I might have to.
Yeah, these work really well. They're really universal. We should add this to the list. All right, how about a big suction thing? It's clogged. Sometimes I discover. Should I add this to the list?
Yeah.
I can charge you for this. This is like $20 an hour.
Right.
Okay.
I have a new way that I use that pipe wrench as well that I learned the other day, and I could use that or not.
In that way.
Right.
Yeah, look at this. I could do it with my shirt off.
Exactly.
Like this.
There's not a person out there that sits in front of the client in a sales conversation that cannot speak to what they really want and what they can do for somebody. It's just that we don't oftentimes spend the time to listen long enough to really understand from the client what they really want, what really matters to them. And honestly, that's when you can make a sale, really, is because once you know what they want, you can speak to that, as opposed to, here's all the things I do, like a scattergun. It's like, boom.
Yes, and hopefully one of these things you're going to like.
One of these things you're going to like, and then I'll probably convince you on a couple other ones because I like them really a lot, which is cool, which is the way I used to do it as well. This is a lot simpler. It's a lot simpler and a lot more honest.
Yep.
That can listen. So I want this, and I want that, and I want this. Oh, well, great. Well, these are kind of things I can do for you to be able to speak to that thing that's really important to you. What do you think? Wow, that's great. You're the first person to do that for me. Honestly, that's so awesome. Okay, so when should we start? Sign here.
Exactly.
It's really that simple.
It's kind of foregone at that point. So be an improver and have a great life.
Yeah, I think so too. And if you want more from this, you can either listen to the podcast again, or you can go to our Facebook page, because I posted this on our Facebook page at the Entertainment Experience Facebook page. But if you lose there, you can't find it, just let me know and I'll tell you, go listen to our show again, because I don't really care that much anyway.
It's that simple. It really is. Hey, thanks for tuning in this week. Be sure to check out our Facebook page and like it if you haven't. You can follow us on Twitter and all the usual ways. But until then,
bye.
Broadcasting from high atop planet Earth at a rate of 96 kilobytes sampled per second over the interweb in an effort to stop glorifying being busy. This has been an Entertainment Experience production.